Good day and welcome to Conversations with AARP in the Virgin Islands. I'm Troy Deshabir Schuster, State Director of AARP in this territory, and we welcome you to our show. We are now coming to the end of our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month nationally and here in the Virgin Islands. And so I have with me two very special guests. First is Mrs. Vera Falu and also Mr. Joe Olmeda. Mr. Olmeda and Ms. Falu, welcome.
Hello.
And it's so wonderful to have you both here. I have known both of you, I think, pretty much all my life. All my life. You know me before I knew myself. Ms. Falu, I know you came here in 1974, was it, from Puerto Rico?
That's correct. I've
Right.
been here quite a long time.
Quite a long time. I was 4 years old when you came. And Mr. Olmeda, when did you come to St. Croix?
I came here in 1971,
Wow, even
almost
before.
50 years ago.
Wow, incredible, incredible. And so both of you have been part of the fabric of St. Croix for many, many, many years. And why we have you on the show today in particular, as we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, is to talk about the celebration of the friendship between the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And how interesting it is that both of you were born in Puerto Rico, but you came to St. Croix, you incorporated yourself into the life of the island, into the life of the territory. And at the same time, while you embraced our culture, you also maintained your culture and heritage. And both of you brought it together in a remarkable way in the celebrations of the friendship between Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And so we thank you so much for that contribution. But starting with you, Mr. Olmeda, tell us a little bit about your what your Puerto Rican heritage means to you and how you incorporated that in your life here in the Virgin Islands.
Well, first of all, I was born in New York.
Okay.
My father immigrated he was a Jibaro from Humacao, and he immigrated to New York. I married my mother, who is a Cuban lady, and then I moved back to Puerto Rico. And in Puerto Rico, at the age about 40, I came to St. Croix to work in a company, but I never forget my Jibaro roots. And I've always identified myself as a Puerto Rican, but living here for 50 years, I have integrated with the community of, especially St. Croix, that now I'm what they call a Crucian Rican. And I love my St. Croix. I love my rice and beans, but I like my Callaloo too. Sure, and then with this community, which I love, I call it home, and on the no way I will deny this heritage, my Hispanic heritage and my Crucian heritage. Both of them has come together, and I just love it.
That's a wonderful story, and it's so wonderful the way you've integrated, and again the many contributions you've made to St. Croix over the years. You've worn many hats. You've been a business owner. You were in administration in the hospital. Tell us a little bit about some of the roles you've played here in St. Croix.
Yes, right now, when I came here, I came to work with a company that they sent me here for only 6 months, and I came here. Once I came here for 6 months, I started looking around, and I see so many people like me, and I said, well, then I started working with a company named Glidden. After that, I opened one store in San Thomas. After San Thomas, I decided to open my own business. That is Colorama. That is still on the island. Is one of the few Hispanic business that is still open, because we used to have a lot of business, Hispanic business. And then I opened Colorama. After 10 years, I decided that was enough for me for business, and I went to work an assistant hospital administrator at Juan Luis Hospital, which I worked 25 years. Then I retired. But when you're when you are a person that you like to be the community, I start getting involved in different committees, and with my friend Vera, we have done so many things on this island that it's a lot. It's a lot. Right now, at this moment, I'm involved in my church, St. Joseph. I am a financial advisor to the Colorama. I'm a member of the AARP. I like politics, and I like all kind of activities. And at 77 years that I'm now, I feel that I can do a lot for this community.
Yes, and indeed you have. Indeed you have, and you continue to do so. And by the way, you mentioned you're a member of AARP. Both of you are valued members of AARP for a long time. And so thank you for your membership and your involvement with AARP here in the Virgin Islands and nationally. And now to you, Mrs. Falu, tell us a little bit about your Puerto Rican heritage, how you incorporated it here, and some of the hats that you wore here in the Virgin Islands, because I know you could go on and on and on for at length too. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, first of all, let me say thank you to AARP, my favorite organization. I work with ARP as a diversity in the Multicultural Engagement Initiative. I've been a member forever and ever. I will forever be a member. I have my red ARP today. So thank you very much for inviting me. I value my heritage greatly. I am a Puerto Rican. I am not Hispanic. Yo soy una boricua. Yo nací en Puerto Rico.
De pura cepa.
De pura cepa. De Coquí and then me. I came to St. Croix to work as a dietitian in the Charles Howard Memorial Hospital that was open at that time. And the reason I came was because at that time, the Department of Health, the hospital used to belong to the Department of Health. It was integrated. And they were looking for health professionals. They did a research in Puerto Rico for dietitians, physicians, nurses, social workers, for everything. And I came young with my 2 children, my husband. My children, really, if you ask them, they might tell you that I am a Crucian Rican because they came here 2 and 3 years old. I came a little later. I had 21 years old. I am here still. I love this island, but I am a Puerto Rican. I value my heritage in honoring the customs that my father and my mother instilled in me. The first custom, of course, is to drink black coffee in the morning. Yo tomo café negro. We go to church. We value family. And my father, above all, and I need to mention this because it's good as we talk in ARP for younger people, for the younger generation, that they need to know a culture of service. My father is the one who instilled in me the culture of service. And I give you an anecdote that when we used to go to have dinner every evening, the question my father asked of me and my 2 brothers was, what did you do for someone today? All the time. And you better have an answer. It didn't have to be a big thing, but you had to have done something for your fellow man every day.
Every day.
Your brother, the children that used to go to school with us, the neighbors, my mother, whoever. If you didn't have an answer, you were in serious trouble. And I stayed with that all my life. So when I came to St. Croix, I came in a very particular year because that year was an election year. And it just so happened that this young man from Vieques, Puerto Rico was running as a lieutenant governor candidate. And I say, aha. And I'm saying that because as I came to the VI Puerto Rico friendship was through his wife that had just become the First Lady of the Virgin Islands. And I'm speaking of Luz Maria Guadalupe de Luis. She's the one who really expanded this celebration. And for the AARP members and everybody else that is listening and hearing us, I need you to know that this is a law. This is not a committee that just came from the community. It came from the legislature of the Virgin Islands when Mr. Ralph Paiwonski was the governor. And there were several senators that sponsored this legislation, and three came to mind. One was Randall Nicholas James, Dr. James, everybody knows him. The other one was L.B. Artley, a St. Thomas senator. And the other one was a Grovian, Patrick Williams. And for those of you who don't know what is a Grovian, is somebody that comes from Grove, a state Grove in St. Croix, Virgin Islands. Those were three prime sponsors of Act 1075 that enabled, through legislation, the Virgin Islands Puerto Rico Friendship Committee. So this is not a proclamation that is done every year. We are mandated by law to hold these celebrations every year on the weekend that was formerly known as Columbus Day weekend. That's what it is. But my heritage, it is serious to me. That's what I live, that's what I breathe, and that's what I'm trying to pass it on. I speak about Puerto Rico and my culture every day. And I consider myself, just like Mr. Olmeda, a person that has been fully integrated to the fabric of the Virgin Islands. Not St. Croix, the Virgin Islands. If I may say so, I am the only Puerto Rican that has ever been the president also of the Crucian Christmas Festival. And for many years, I held the two hats simultaneously, which was a feat, because people now have computers, they have cellular phones, they have all this good equipment. We didn't have that. We had a good pen and a pencil and paper to do these things. But one of the things that I want people to know is that Puerto Rico and St. Croix and the Virgin Islands are similar in everything. We are Caribbean people. We love our God. We love our families. We love our communities. And what you need, I have, and you give it to me. And if I need it, you give it to me. Mi casa es su casa.
Casa. Thank you. Igualmente, mi casa es su casa. So, bienvenido a las Islas Vírgenes.
Gracias.
Otra vez. Yes. And so, to you, Mr. Olmeda, tell us a little bit about the I keep thinking Hispanic Heritage Month, pardon me, of the VI-PR Friendship Committee, and how you and Mrs. Falu, who is a longtime friend of yours, I know that you all are very close friends, which is wonderful, lovely friendship. Tell us how both of you got involved in this committee, because I know that both of you elevated the celebrations of the friendship between Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. So tell us a little bit about that beginning.
Well, let me tell you that I, like Vera, I helped Mrs. Lewis in different positions on the committee. I've been president of this committee for 3 years, and we have done a lot of different activities, like AARP helped us in last year with the El Gran Combo. That I really appreciate what you did. AARP did for us last year that I was the president, and we, like Vera said, we tried to make this all these years the Virgin Islands Friendship Civic Committee, a committee that is for the people, for our all kind of ethnic groups that comes together with us. And for the 50 years I've been living here on this island, this is one of my favorite committee. And like I said, I have given 3 years as a president, and I have been vice president, and we have done a lot for these committees, especially the last time that I was president. I tried to bring young people to these committees because we need to pass the baton. Like Vera said, we already in the last lap. We cannot give advice to the people, but the best is that the young people, we have young people working on our committee, and we every year we try to do a few different things. Like last year when I was a president, we make a golf tournament, we make the library. We trying to do different things so people get interested on this, and this celebration is something that I look forward. People have tried to sometimes because money wise to cut that, but Vera can tell you that we have going in the street, business to collect a little dollar here. Remember, Vera, a little dollar there, a little dollar here, and we collect the money. And because let me tell you something that Vera know how to ask. Vera know how to make money. Vera know how to ask. And together she was my vice president. And let me tell you, I tell her, you look for the money, I spend it. And she did. And we did. We have done a lot of times this. And like I said, I want to publicly thank you, Troy, for last year. You make VIPR shine with that grand combo, and I really appreciate what AARP did last year for my presidency. And like I said, I'm looking forward for so many years more. If God give me health to keep with this association, and with the help of you and your organization. And I know Vera, even Vera won't be around. Vera will always help us from wherever she is.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And it was a pleasure for AARP to partner and to bring about that great performance. We were hoping to do an even bigger performance this year for Hispanic Heritage Month, but then the pandemic stopped that. So we look forward to 2021. Hopefully we'll have a vaccine. Hopefully we'll be in a better place, and then we can have another great celebration around this holiday. And so over the years, decades now, many decades, Puerto Ricans have come to St. Croix, in particular, to St. Thomas also, but especially to St. Croix to work. People have gone from the Virgin Islands to Puerto Rico to work. Puerto Ricans come to the Virgin Islands on vacation. Especially, I lived in St. Thomas for many years, and I noticed that quite often on the weekends, especially holiday weekends, there'd be this whole flotilla of yachts coming from Puerto Rico over to St. Thomas. They tie up on the waterfront, they get off their boats, they go shopping, they go back. We go to Puerto Rico for healthcare, for everything. So from your perspective, starting with Ms. Falu, tell us a little bit about your views of this exchange and how it all ties into the celebration of the friendship.
I want people to understand and to know and to live that Puerto Ricans did not come here in the 20s. Puerto Ricans came to the Virgin Islands in the 1600s. This is centuries ago, and that is documented. There's a history book of Puerto Rico that was penned by Fray Bartolomé de las Casas, Historia de Puerto Rico, and it's totally documented how the migration from Vieques, Fajardo, Culebra, Naguabo, the eastern coast of Puerto Rico, people were coming from the 1600s to St. Croix in particular for better conditions of life. When they came, they cut cane, they married the local girls, or they married the local fellows, and they stayed. That's how the integration of these two beautiful cultures started. Like you just said, Mr. Schuster, Puerto Ricans and Virgin Islanders mesh so wonderfully. I remember when I first came here, people were saying that the first television stations were Channel 2 and Channel 4 of Puerto Rico.
That's right.
The radio stations were the Puerto Rican radio stations. When the young gentlemen wanted to join the military, they had to go to Puerto Rico to Fort Buchanan because there was nothing in the Virgin Islands. Many outstanding Virgin Islanders, and I could tell you Gene Romney, God bless his soul. I could tell you Philip Gerard. I could tell you Valmy Thomas, that his name is in the Hall of Fame of Baseball of Puerto Rico, because Valmy Thomas played with the Cangrejeros de Santurce, and he's in the Hall of Fame of Puerto Rico. I could name you oodles of physicians that have come from Puerto Rico to work in our local hospitals. Young ladies have come to be nurses in our local hospitals. There was some time that daily, if you went to the local airlines, the planes were full in the mornings to go to Puerto Rico people to work, to go to school, particularly in Inter-American University of Puerto Rico, the University of Ponce de Sagrada Pontificia. So many people went to Puerto Rico and came back over here. And if you see some of our families, and people laugh after this, when AARP talks about multicultural, they need to pick up a family from St. Croix, particularly.
Yes.
You have a father that is a Crucian, the mother is a Puerto Rican, the children are from light color to the darkest hue of color, and everybody is a family. Todos somos una familia. Y this cultural meshing or love affair or marriage has continued. My job today, and I appreciate you inviting me, is to make sure that you understand that this should continue, that this friendship needs to be cultivated. And how it needs to be cultivated? By sharing the history of these two territories. We are two Caribbean islands here in this beautiful Caribbean Sea, and we all need to understand that we are one. We are one. We just happen to be born in different islands, but we are one. And our children in the schools need to be taught our histories. They need to understand our flags and see our flag, the Virgin Islands flag too. And if you see, I have a pin today, and I designed this pin when I first became president, and this was all the way back in 1978, of the VI Puerto Rico flag. And I put it all the time during the month of October because I want people to understand. I want to go back briefly. I know I'm taking too much time, but
That's okay.
Mrs. Louis, when she became the first lady, she's the one who decided to expand the celebrations to the community. Because before, from 64 that the law was signed to 78, the functions were only for the governor, his cabinet, and his particular guest. The community was not involved. Mrs. Louis is the one who changed that. And that's when I became the president, and I served honorably and faithfully and humbly until Governor Louis was no longer the governor. It was a fabulous time. The community has helped us tremendously. AARP has always supported VI Puerto Rico friendship. I remember when the previous executive director from Mr. Schuster, she always supported me and supported the committee. And we did fabulous things. And one of the things that I want to highlight is the Hispanic Library. We have a Hispanic library. It is located at the Florence Williams Public Library in St. Croix, Virgin Islands. We brought to here the Ballet Folclórico de Puerto Rico, and we had a fabulous presentation at Island Center in which the St. Croix Heritage Dancers, led by Bradley Christian, which is a stalwart of this committee, and the Puerto Rico Folkloric Ballet danced together. And that is one of the nights that I remember the most. It was beautiful to see the dancers from Puerto Rico with the beautiful attire meshing with our beautiful Madras clothing. That was a beautiful night. Beautiful. We did a food fair. We did it at Machuchal, and it was sponsored by one of our local banking institutions. We have done concerts with bands from Puerto Rico, like the one Joe said. We have gone to Puerto Rico to visit and participate in Puerto Rico carnivals and festivals. We have selected queens, beautiful queens, Puerto Ricans and Crucians and Virgin Islanders. We have gone to St. Thomas because this committee expanded itself to St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, and in St. Thomas too. We have celebrated VI Puerto Rico because it's not a Crucian festival, it's a VI Puerto Rico friendship. So we have done a lot. My main concern all the time that I have been the president is to provide to the people also educational and cultural activities. Everything cannot be village and dancing and partying. I have always endeavored, and that is my main concern, that the history be preserved and passed on, and that the culture continues to live.
And fully agree with you, because I would like to see us do more educational stuff with VIPR Friendship next year. With our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month this year, we try to bring a lot of informative programs like this. But that education is so important. So Mr. Olmeda, you get the last word as we're wrapping up our show. But tell us your views again. What do you think about the importance of keeping this alive? About bringing more education to it? What are your views for the future of the celebration of the friendship between Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico?
Well, my views for the future, I want to mention something that Vera was telling. This year, since with all this virus, we have decided to give scholarships. We went to the schools, and the kids write some questions that they answer about our culture, and we give away some scholarships. But I see this committee becoming a big celebration, and something that we have been trying to do, and Vera can correct me if I'm wrong. We have trying to involve the government, tourism, to bring people from Puerto Rico down here to celebrate with us. We Puerto Rican, we love to party, we love to music, the food, and the dancing, but also what I would like to see, if the new generation, the new kids going to the school, bring people to the community, to the Queen Show, to the scholarships, to a lot of things that we can do, and I hope that this tradition of this committee keeps going for many years, because it's something so beautiful. And like Vera said, Crucians have adopted me and love me and care for me, that I want this love to keep going forever and ever. And the community, beside other ethnic groups like from Santo Domingo, Mexico, things like that, to integrate with us and learn from us how these communities have embraced us for many years. Like Vera said, for almost 600 years, we've been going through all this. So this is the way I see this committee, and to bring the young people. We have to bring young people to here, because we won't be here forever.
I left myself muted. Sorry about that. So I totally agree with you, and I hope that I myself, being one of the younger people, that I can help to carry that on, as I've already started doing in and through AARP. But we're out of time right now. I want to thank both you, Mrs. Falu, and you, Mr. Olmeda, so much for being with us today and sharing your history and a lot of the history of the friendship between Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And thank you for all that you've done for us over the years. And I know that you're still very active in the community, and may God bless you both in every way.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Gracias a vosotros.
Okay.